It was tough to hold him. So, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Fred, last time we talked this year, you were almost in semi-retirement. And about a month ago, I heard the R word flying around again, that if you won a major tournament, you might consider hanging up the clubs.
Any tournament, I think I said. I was any tournament. You know, I'll never retire, but sometime in the near future, I'm gonna. You know, I mean, 15 events isn't that much. This year, I'm playing more. Hopefully, around 19 or 20, and next year and the next year will probably be the same. But if I happen to win a big one, like I believe I can, then I would probably cut it down to 7 or 8. You know, call it a career, as they say, just because of the fact that I've been doing it 20 years. You know, I accept that I don't play as well every week, and that's kind of hard. But the it shows on my face that I always say I still enjoy playing, but not when you don't play well. And I made a little commitment to play more. My wife's come out a few more times. We've had a fun doing it, and I play better, you know, when she feels comfortable knowing that, you know, she's learning too. You know, the more you play, the better you're going to be. And when I'm home, I don't ever practice. So if I can squeeze in another tournament or two, I'll do fine.
So last week at the British, if you would have finished first instead of tied for 6th, that might have been it?
That what a way, you know, to go out. Yeah. I honestly think that, you know, there aren't many sports where, you know, if you're a football player, you can say, well, this is my last year, you know, only if we win a championship, and only one team's win, you know, unless you're traded at the end of the year to that team. But in golf, you know, this is my 20th year on the tour. Obviously, there have been guys that play 40 years or 45 years, but I physically don't take the grind like I used to. You know, I still like to play, but that's really meaningless to say because everyone likes to play. And I can come up and play with you, or you can come play with me. I still play at home with my friends, and that's still golf. But the competition is what you miss the most. And that's why I'll still hopefully play it out, you know, wherever they'll take me. If I so-called quit, I still want to play in some of the tournaments I've won before, but Augusta's always my main goal, and I will always play in that until I can't walk anymore.
Sure. What about the competitive juices? Are they still there, like they were 20 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, you know, they are because, you know, 10, 12 years ago or 8 years ago when I played, on Sunday night I used to always sit down and think for a very short while, whether it was a car ride to the airport or a plane ride home, you know, what I could have done to do better. Now, you know, it seems like it's 2 or 3 days long, you know, what could I have done better? And it all comes down to playing. If I play a lot of golf, I still feel like I can compete, and then those juices get going. Because I'm able to, for me, if I can hit the ball I'm looking, then that's my whole deal. And a lot of times when I don't play much, I just swing and go chase it. By the end of 4 days of doing that, it gets pretty frustrating and not a whole lot of fun.
That's funny. I swing and go chase it too at the same time, and it's still frustrating for me.
But this is your work here, so it's really
that's true.
You know, for me, and we all know that, but I mean, it's very frustrating. And even when guys, like I'll play with these guys tomorrow, and they'll go play, and you know, at the end of the day, you say it was fun, you hit a lot of good shots. You know, they all never go away thinking about one good shot. A lot of times, you know, when you win a tournament, everyone still thinks of a shot you hit in the water or a missed putt. No one ever realizes I played 71 perfect holes, and so I screwed up on one hole. And you go and win a tournament. Now, that's the way the game is. You know, it's not like striking out 3 times and hitting the game-winning home run. You're the hero, but the times you struck out, you know, you forget about those. In golf, you never forget because you're always learning, and you don't hit that many great shots in a round. You're always playing your scrubs, and I think the good players do that very well. And I feel like, you know, Tiger Woods is a great player, but he's probably got one of the top 4 or 5 short games on our tour, and that's why he's so good.
Let's talk about the Tiger factor, because if you want to win one of these big ones, you're going to have to beat Tiger. So how do you know, if you don't practice and you don't play as much as Tiger does, how do you raise the bar to his level?
Well, I think a lot of it would be luck. You know, if you're going head-to-head against him, you know, he can't do it every week, but in the majors, you know, you gear up for those, and he's going to be tough to beat because it is a one-week thing. I mean, if you were to say, you know, Ernie Els he's our second best player. Davis Love hasn't won in a couple years, which is shocking to me. He's so good. But if you pick Ernie Els, you know, he won at Loch Lomond, but on our tour against Tiger, you know, if he does win, it might be once a year, whereas Tiger's winning 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and he's beating everyone. So the Tiger factor really is a lot of luck. If you beat him, you have got to play your absolute best. And, you know, for him, he normally plays 3 unbelievable rounds in one round that's as good as anyone else. You know, he's beating everyone by 8 to 10 and 12 shots, which I just have never seen before.
Are you pretty much blown away by that? Because we really haven't seen, I don't even think Jack did it the way that Tiger's doing it.
No, I just read something that blew my mind that they had in one of the Sports Illustrated, that Tiger Woods beat the field 3 rounds out of the 4 at the U.S. Open. So he had the low score 3 days of everybody.
Right.
Nicklaus did that once in his U.S. Open career. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but they wouldn't have put it in there if it wasn't accurate. So you get a guy that did it 3 times in one event, and Jack did it once in 44 years. I just find that mind-boggling. You know, I worry about my own game. I love the way Tiger Woods plays. I will never, ever go and say, you know, so what, he wins all the time, you know. But we all have to, you know, as they say, tip your hat off to him, just like anyone else. But we all have our own games, and, you know, I'll be perfectly honest. If I was to play in a tournament and finish second behind Tiger, I can't go away, you know, too disappointed.
Yeah.
Unless I, you know, blow the last 9 and he passes me. But so far, no one's blowing a lead. He's so far ahead that he keeps beating everyone by more and more and more. I think it's great for golf. But for us to catch up to him, it's just going to take, you know, brilliant golf. And that's what he's doing every week, and he's so good.
Are the guys on the tour getting sick of that red shirt on Sundays? Because, you know, my job, I'm showing Tiger on the TV, and, you know, they're following Tiger for 18 holes. They follow him when he gets up in the morning and what he eats, and you have to sit here and talk about how good he is. Do you guys start to get tired of that?
You know, I don't, because a lot of times I very rarely even bring my own self up. You know, I don't go around touting my own horn, because I know how hard the game is, and I can talk about how good Duval is, and Tiger and Davis and Ernie and Colin Montgomery, and the list goes on and on. But you know, he's so I just think he's talented. I think he's great on and off the course. I understand, you know, he said a few things on TV that weren't quite appropriate, but I don't have a problem with that personally. I mean, I don't compare myself to him in any way, shape, or form, but, you know, when you get mad and you say something, you don't have time to think, and you're not really worried about it. It's just a reaction, and, you know, people swear all the time, and they do things, and I let that go in one ear and out the other. He does a lot of great things for golf, but mainly his golf speaks for itself. I mean, if he was to come here and play 2 days, you know, people, he doesn't hit irons, you know, a foot from the hole. He doesn't make 100-foot putts. He doesn't, you know, do the unordinary thing. He just does it every single shot. And that's, you know, the bottom line is he out-drives everybody. Yeah. He hits irons better than most. He's not the best iron player on tour, but he dominates the par 5s. And if the par's 72, you know, he's already 3 under. So he's at 69. Some guys may be at 70. But if you're talking about one shot around, there's already 4 strokes in the turn. You cannot make those up against him.
How's your length? I think you're like 279 right now. Is it?
I'm up there most of the time.
Okay.
You know, it used to be I'd pay attention to those, and I'd hit driver on every hole. We have a couple holes that are marked for the people who don't know. And I used to never really let one of those go by. Now I'll hit 3 woods on the hole or 2 iron. Well, some of them don't shape your way, and I feel like I play a little smarter than I used to. But my length is. It's still up there. That's what makes my game go, and obviously we're on the putting green. So putting, I still feel like is a strong part, but it's a very weak link when I'm not very good. It's part, you know, when I drive the ball poorly, I'm not ever going to be in the top 10 in fairways hit or the top 50. But I know that when I drive the ball well, I should play well, and I don't. You know, I may drive it in the hazard or drive it offline, but my putting is either very good or very poor, and that really has to change and or get better. And a lot of that has to do with keep playing and keep playing and keep playing.
Sure. I know you mentioned before that like Ryder Cup, President Cup, those were goals for you to reach. Curtis Strange was in town a couple weeks ago for the Maryland Shootout. So I took it upon myself to kind of pitch you and say, hey, you know, if Freddie's playing well, is he the type of guy that, you know, you would want to take as, you know, one of your captain's picks if it came down to that? And unfortunately, he didn't lose one of those captain picks right there. But he said that, yeah, you were the type of guy that he would look at.
Well, I think that was, you know, he's probably knew us from Seattle, knew, you know, people up here were going to want to hear that. But I would want to be very, very close. I would definitely want to be on the team. You know, the President's Cup is coming up. I'm not moving my way up quickly, but I am playing better every week. And if it's not competitive for me to say, hey, you know, there's a couple guys, you know, that could make this team, and they're very close to making it. Now, obviously, if I played 4 or 5 or 6 more tournaments a year, like some do, then I feel like my money might be up there where I can make the team. I just don't play enough. But sometimes you can, you know, finish second in an event and, you know, still be up there. But this year I have not knocked them dead, but I'm playing much more consistent. So if my game gets going, I mean, there's no one round where I feel like if I'm paired up with Tiger or Davis where we wouldn't dominate and win. Anyone with Tiger, but I mean, my partner normally is Davis. But I don't want to be close and take a spot away from a Stuart Sink or Justin Leonard, who are a lot younger, who can be on these teams a long time too. That my goal is to knowingly tell the guy, you know, I've tried hard to make it. I think I could be a great pick, but if I'm not, I will certainly be the first to say, hey, look, you know, I don't deserve to be on the team. I played in a bunch of them. You know, pick someone else. It's still fun, but I don't want to cheat anybody out of a spot just because I played well for a lot of years.
I think if you wanted to make one Ryder Cup team, it would be the one in 2001, because it's going to be interesting when the Americans go over to the Belfry and see what the European reaction will be.
It'll be, you know, still buzzing a little bit about it, and I guess Mark James has a new book out, which I've not seen at all. I don't really care to see it. I'm not so sure any of that stuff is good or bad. I don't think we'll control the galleries in Europe. I don't think we'll really need to. But if they get up, it'll be ugly for us because, you know, they have great chants. They have a lot of countries, a lot of flags are waving, Irish flags and Spanish flags and Scotland and England and Sweden. It's different, you know, so it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And when you're not winning, it's not exciting. When you're getting smoked, then it's no fun. And I think when we went out last Sunday at the Ryder Cup, you know, yeah, one thing happened, and I wasn't there, but I've heard all the stories, and you know, there was no problem with their team or their hotels or their locker rooms until they lost, and you know, then everything was a problem. And I'm not saying I've never done that at a tournament or we've never done that in team events, but you know, the last President's Cup team I was on, we were killed, and you know, it's a learning experience. You know, they were better, they beat us easily, and we still had a good time, even though, you know, we lost. But you don't want to get ugly. You know, I don't want to, you know, say something about another player, and because it's a Ryder Cup year, it goes even deeper. It's meaningless to me to say anything bad about anyone, and especially when you lose and then you say something. You just got to keep your mouth shut.
So there is sportsmanship in golf still.
Yeah, I think there's a ton of it. I think what happened at the Ryder Cup in Brookline is going to make it a little uglier for us when we go, where are we going, the Belfry next year.
Right.
There's no doubt, and we all know their fans are great, and they can be very excitable, not unruly. They're great fans, and I just played in the British Open. They were very vocal for me and Tiger and all the Americans, but in the Ryder Cup, it's a totally different thing. We just have to play better and stay ahead, and then that'll keep our fans into it. But it'll be a lot different, and it should be, because what happened there, I think some people think was a little misjustice, and you know, I wasn't really there, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think there needs to be more of that in golf. But you know, that's just me. A little
you
fist
mean
pumping.
yeah,
Exactly. You know.
Well, I don't argue that. You know, people always say, is it that quiet on the course? And I say no. You know, I mean, around my green it is, but over there, some guy could be making a 20-foot putt, screaming and yelling. It's just, we don't get picked on very much.
Yeah.
You know, if you and I are playing, and I'm from Seattle and you're from Chicago, and we're up here at Newcastle playing, and I'm beating you and I'm from Seattle, they're going to yell harder for me, but they're not going to pick on you.
Yeah.
And in the Ryder Cup, you get all these people getting picked on. It's really, a bad taste, and there's a little too much alcohol, and they're out there for 8 or 10 hours a day, and there's not a whole lot of golf to watch. There's 4 groups in the morning and 4 in the afternoon, so there's a lot of drinking, and it gets ugly.
Yeah. Well, and I think as long as Colin Montgomery's on the team too, they're gonna be bashing him a little bit. Yeah. But hey, let's hit some putts, and we'll keep talking. Tell me a little bit about what you think about, say, when you're putting. Are you focused more on line, or you focus more on speed?
Well, the big thing that I used to, in a quick little lesson, is when you look at the putt from right here, it looks very easy. And so the thing I'm having a problem is when I walk in this way, and now my eyes go from here to here, they look out there.
Okay.
And I have the tendency to think I'm aiming to the right, so I cut across my putts. And a lot of times, by cutting across, I don't hit them with the right pace. So lately what I've been working on is basically trying to get my head in a better position. And you don't want to think about all that. You want to think about your stroke. But if my eyes can't see that, right now I want to putt it right over this line.
Okay.
And if I can just look at that line and stroke it, I should hit a pretty good putt.
There you go. Ended up on the pro side too.
Exactly. But what I'm doing right now is I'm at the British Open. I was just on a practice stroke trying to fall, not even take it back, just fall through and walk up to the ball and take a quick look and then fall through. And they're more solid. I mean, I've hit a lot of putts where I cut across and they barely get to the hole short, and I always laugh at that. Because you're not going to get that many birdie putts. You should never leave a birdie putt short. Now, I say the same about myself, and I do it all the time, but hopefully I'm getting 12 or 14 of them around.
So why don't you want to play a couple holes?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't we start here?
Okay.
And we'll go up the hill.
Yeah, we don't want this one, although that would be.
We go here.
Yeah.
Go here? Let's
actually,
go here.
we might.
We'll go right in between.
You go on this side.
Okay.
I think it'll curve around. I think this one may.
The other thing I'm curious about is what's the new lingo out on tour? Because I know, like, slamming the trunk means, you leave it on Friday.
The new lingo is, what did Tiger shoot this morning before you turn on the internet in your room? Boy, the new lingo. Let's putt a couple. I'll have to
think about that a little bit.
All right, you're going to go to the right. I'm going to go to the left.
Okay. I'm going to watch you first.
Well,
hang on. They're quick, huh?
Yeah. He's a better putter than I am. I got to face it. Same spot.
Yeah, same spot.
They are really fast. That's going to be in the bunker. No?
No, that's going to be good.
I thought it would.
I don't know if you can get it in one there.
I thought it would break a little more right. Very nice. It might be easier to putt from this spot on your putt. That's off the green, though.
Unless it hits the pin.
Oh,
look at you.
Was that on tape or was that real?
That was on tape. Look at that.
But the new lingo. I honestly, you've put me
For
on
instance,
the spot.
like, I've heard that, you don't ever say your score, you say you were either under or you're over. If you shoot a 73, it's 1.
Right.
Or whatever.
Yeah, what'd you shoot? Yeah, a couple guys.
Would you do that?
Well, I normally say the score.
Okay.
But
now I heard one thing about your caddy, Joe, is that he'll say, okay, you got your mitt, now you're in the ball game.
Right. Now that's probably not too much new lingo, but that's stuff I've been hearing, not as much lately as I did early in the year. We'd be out there and he'd always look at the scoreboard and, I won't name names, but he'll say, look at this guy's beating you. What do you think about that? I'll say, well, it's early in the week. And then 2 days later, he'd come up and say, he's still beating you. Out of the blue. We won't even talk about anything. He'll say, he's still beating you. And then right away, I know him, so I'll know what he's talking about. And then I'll get a little bit mad at him. And
motivation, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, we normally play mind games. Like if he's talking to another caddy, and I think they're talking about something that I might want to know about, whether it's some other guy or me or whatever. And he says, I'll tell you later. I'll say, you tell me now, I'm going to hit this ball, out of bounds. and I'll say, you think I'm kidding? You better let me know. So before I hit, he'll tell me what's going on, and then we'll joke about it. But more lingo between he and I, and it's mostly, if we one of the.
You hit a great shot. You hit your iron pure.
Right.
What is your caddy going to tell you? What are you going to tell him? What did you just hit?
Well, most people remember. What did I say at Augusta? Wow. Something. I hit a shot a couple feet in the eagle on the 13th hole one day. And most people come up and say, Joe, I have to beat it out of him to say, that was a great shot. And sometimes, maybe I said be right ball or something. Old baby is what I said.
Okay.
So most people come up and they say, I love that. And I don't, one shot of my life. But normally, Joe's very good. He's great because we talk sports all the time. He's a big Yankee fan. Obviously, I'm a big Mariner fan, and other sports. But right now we have the better record, so we're beating them up. The Yankees struggle with Seattle, so that's always good for me. But he will not tap me on the back and tell me good this, good that. That's not what he's out there for. He's out there to really work hard and keep me going. If I get down, he's not there to pick me up, and that's not his fault because that's not really what he does even when I play well. But most of the lingo between he and I is kind of inside chatter, and it's mostly all sports.
Developed over years and years.
12 years, or 11 years he's been putting up with me.
So is that a part-time job for him, or is that his full-time
job?
No,
that's just, is part-time. Are you saying because I play part-time? I understand. That's lingo, right? That is not being, let's see, how would that be? You're not playing enough, but you're a part-time worker. Joe, last year caddied for Justin Leonard, who finished second at Canada. He caddied for Davis somewhere. He'll maybe caddy 4 or 5 more times. He caddies quite a few times for John Cook, who's a friend of mine, and John likes Joe, so he'll go caddy for John. He's not here. He's with his family this week. They're having a little fun time up at Martha's Vineyard, so I brought a friend
boss
up to
gave him off.
Exactly. Well, he gave himself. He already planned this a year ago, not knowing when we were having the tournament, so he feels bad about it. And I said, Joe, don't, go have fun. You deserve a week off. But most of the time, he goes home. He works on his house. He's a very, very hard worker. He's got a great family back in Connecticut. Right. He works with his dad on his house and his brothers and his sisters, so he's always working.
And he probably wants you to win a little bit more, right?
That wouldn't be a problem. I would like myself to win a little more too. Not for the money part, just for the, as we were talking about, competitive.
Yeah.
I'm not the most competitive person. I don't really care if we play cards and I lose, or if we go to Vegas and
What about gambling. During the event though?
You got no. When I play golf, I'm very, very competitive. I don't beat myself up because I know how hard the game is. I'm not going to go play somewhere and physically get mad at myself. I'm going to throw a club every, twice a year. I might say a few things that aren't, but that's the way I am. I mean, my father was like that. My brother, I'm not putting words in their mouth, but they're all sports guys, and I cuss a lot and I moan a lot, but it's basically my game. I'm not a John McEnroe, but I'm not, Mr. Goody Two Shoes.
Well, whenever the camera's hitting you on TV, whether you hit a bad shot or a good shot, it looks like you're firing 7 under. Where do you release your frustration, or how do you release your frustration?
Really by not worrying about it like I used to. When I really, really, really played well, I ate and drank and couldn't wake up the next day to do it. Now, I like to go out to dinner with my wife. I don't think about golf, or I'll go out with Davis, who never talks about golf. All of it's a ball. So I get away from it. I basically don't have as much frustrating nights, is because when I go home, a lot of times, you know, I'm not in the hunt every single day or week like I keep saying like I was, but that is part of me that wants to always do that, but you can't. I mean, you can't average 30 points a year for 10 years unless you're Michael Jordan, and Tiger Woods is our Michael Jordan or better. I don't really know, but for me, I just remember what I can do, and I don't do it as much, and sometimes I think about how I can do that. And so it's frustrating when I go play well and don't finish up strong, but I don't let it get to me.
Yeah.
That's how I keep my peace of mind. The game is going to get to me on the course, but when I'm done, you know, it's like a bad night's sleep. You wake up and you know you're going to be able to make it through the day and hopefully sleep better that night. That's how I am with golf.
Good. Let's play one more hole.
All right.
Let's go. How about this long one right up here?
Sure. All right. We'll put a.
What do you want to put on this one?
Nah, we can put. I'll let you play at the PGA the first round for me.
Okay.
And if you beat me,
I'll let you do my sportscast.
I'll give you a night off. But I want to be in the locker room of.
Where do you want to go?
The Mariners or the Sonics or the Seahawks. That's when I'll come take it up, because I'm putting you in.
So
a
I'll
major.
take you into the locker room. Are you in town? How long are you in town for?
Not very long, but come World Series time.
Okay. All right.
That'll be the deal.
Okay.
And if not, you go to Augusta, and I'll take you up into the only one I can get you in the past champions locker room. I'm really bragging now, but most people that come.
I don't even know if I can get into Augusta. I've applied for credentials. TV, they're tough.
Yeah.
TV-wise, they're tough.
They're one of the few that they know what's allotted,
right?
And they're not going to give Seattle.
So if I drop your name, then maybe they'll let me in.
I can get you past there,
okay.
Sure.
Okay.
As long as you keep your job for another 8 months or 9 months.
Well, I'm up for
April.
I'm up for a new contract in November.
All right.
Okay. Grip it and rip it.
I think so.
Come on, don't hit that rough.
All right, one more.
Uh-oh. Boy.
And
go ahead.
No, you're up.
You want me to go? I think my mom just putted.
Well, if it was easy, I always say everybody would be doing it.
Okay, one more.
You got to get more over here. My first
over this
tip,
way?
right here.
Okay.
If we're playing for real.
Here's a guy that's played putt-putt golf before.
Not very well. You want to putt it, try and putt it in that bunker on the right.
Okay.
I don't think you can hit it in there. Well, I kept you out of the bunker unless it rolls backwards. All right.
Okay.
You'll play that one.
I'll play that one.
That's not a problem.
That's all right.
Because I just putted the whole week like these.
Last time I checked, I didn't have a green jacket in my closet.
Well, I don't either.
There you go.
Oh, wait a minute. It's breaking the...
Oh, yeah.
Well,
and you just got back from St. Andrews, too. So.
Yeah, these screens are right at my... All right.
I just want to leave mine below the hole.
See, actually, I'm pin high.
You are. Yours went right. This is going to go right.
I think so. I don't know why, but... Good. I'll see you up there. Okay. Pretty good putt.
You know that last scene in Caddyshack?
Yeah.
They're all standing around yelling at the guy trying to make the putt. Look at that.
All right. So what does that mean?
So that means that
both keep our jobs.
Yeah. And you get a free trip in whatever locker room you want to go into.
And I'll take you to Augusta too.
Okay. That's
easy.
a deal. That's a deal.
That's easy.